Thanks for being with us here on Live Now from Fox. I'm your host, Christina Evans. We do want to continue on with some of these top stories that we have been following. And of course, we've been checking in all day as we're learning new information as the Sean Diddy Combs trial is still ongoing there in New York. Today, there was some bombshell testimony from Capricorn Clark. She is the ex-assistant of Diddy. All right, we do want to go ahead and check in now with Fox 5's Lisa Evers. She's there on the ground. Lisa, you've been following this case, and of course, so many people were interested to hear what Diddy's ex-assistant had to say.
Yes, Christina, they were. This is Capricorn Clark, and she may have started as an assistant, but she rose through the ranks with Bad Boy Worldwide, one of Diddy's major companies, the major holding company, and she became a music director. She became a brand director over the years. But one of the bombshell testimony that came out today was she testified that in December of 2011, Diddy kidnapped her from her apartment and basically at gunpoint, that's what she said, and told her, "We got to go get Kid Cudi." This was after Diddy had learned, shortly after Diddy had learned that Cassie Ventura, his on-again, off-again girlfriend, had been dating Kid Cudi. They went to Kid Cudi's house, and she testified that she waited in the car while Diddy and the bodyguards went into Kid Cudi's house, and then they only, found out that they left there without him because Kid Cudi, she tipped off Kid Cudi while she was waiting in the car. Kind of a complicated story, but she said she was kidnapped at gunpoint. That was a huge point, and she said it wasn't the first time that she'd been kidnapped. She said that early on when she first started working for Diddy, that she was basically threatened with her life the first day that she worked with him. In a couple of days, like basically in the first week or two that she was working with him, she was accused of taking diamonds from a bag. He had a lot of diamond jewelry. He's famous for his bling and for the jewelry, and that for 5 days straight she was taken to a warehouse and given a lie detector by what she said was a man who was much, much larger than her, and told that if she failed the lie detector test, they'd find her body in the East, he'd kill her, and they would find her in the East River. So those were the most explosive things. And then she broke down on the stand a number of times, with more heartbreaking testimony and gut-wrenching testimony about the violence that Diddy allegedly committed against Cassie. He said that she testified that in 2011, Diddy was beating Cassie so badly, he was kicking her while she was on the ground, beating her, and that when Capricorn wanted to step in to intervene, he said, "I will F you up too," and also stop the bodyguard from trying to stop it. So there was more of that type of testimony, but I think all of this that happened around Kid Cudi, we had him here at court. He was here at court testifying last week about what happened to him, what happened to his car, the threats he made, and how it was basically too much drama for him, and he just got out of that situation as quickly as possible, which actually may have saved his life, because if he'd stayed involved with Cassie, who knows what could have happened to him given this new testimony. But it was very disturbing, and she broke down several times. And then she said she was fired in 2012 for supposedly taking a vacation. His employees, she said, were not allowed to take vacations, but what she really suspected was that was retaliation for her not telling Diddy about the dating and the relationship that Cassie was developing with Kid Cudi. And Diddy confronted her and said, why didn't you tell me? He goes, I should beat both you bees and cut Cassie's face. So these were some of the things that she was testifying to, and the element of using force and coercion is very central to the prosecutors to be able to prove this case, Christina.
Absolutely. Thank you for that rundown of everything that happened in court today, Lisa. But I want to touch on the ex-assistant Capricorn Clark, her background. She also worked previously for Death Row Records, so she's been in the hip-hop industry for quite some time.
Well, she's been in the hip hop industry for quite some time, and there was some talk about that, at the beginning of the day, because Suge Knight, as most hip hop fans know, is an arch enemy of Diddy. There was testimony earlier in the week, or during the first 2 weeks of the trial, I should say, that one time Diddy heard in the LA house, Diddy heard that Suge Knight was at a nearby restaurant. He told the guys, "Get the guns and let's go," basically ride up on him. By the time they got there, Suge Knight was gone. So this was, he basically wanted to know that she was really loyal to him, because he was very, he didn't want his secrets out there. And Suge Knight was an arch enemy. They were arch rivals. And, that's a feud that we don't know quite all the details of it, but there's a lot of speculation about just how bad that feud got at various points. So she was on the stand, she was breaking down, and then when she was fired in 2012, she said that everything that she had was tied to Combs, her house, her car, her income, her 401k, all of this, that she lost all that. She said for several years she was blacklisted in the music industry, and as you pointed out, Christina, she was, this was her profession, being in the music industry, helping artists, helping develop artists, helping create records. That's the positions that she had developed for herself and had proven herself in, and that this was very painful for her to be blacklisted. She started contacting Combs a couple years later saying, I want to come back, I can't get any work, and she said that she wanted to come back, asked him to come back, and in 2016 he rehired her to deal with Cassie and to help rebrand and relaunch Cassie's career. But she broke down in tears several times. I mean, can just imagine, the testimony, then the cross-examination, then the redirect, and then the re-cross-examination. She was the only witness that was on the stand the entire day, so that gives you an idea of just how important her testimony is to the prosecutors and them trying to prosecute this case. Christina?
Absolutely, Lisa, and before I let you go, we just got some of this breaking news also into our newsroom here. There are sources there that tells TMZ that Cassie was rushed to a New York hospital today, and she's there in the labor unit. Sounds like she may be about to have that baby as well. Lisa, you've been covering this story. You saw how heavily pregnant Cassie was while she was giving that testimony. Does it shock you at all to hear that she's going into labor such a short time later?
Christina, it absolutely doesn't, because everybody was saying, everybody was talking about it, when she was on the witness stand that first week, which was just basically 2 weeks ago. We thought that weekend she would possibly be going into labor, that she was very, she was extremely pregnant, and yet she carried herself in court in a very dignified way, handled all of that pressure. But I think that was also, why the prosecutors were in a rush to really get her testimony on that week, because they knew that this was going to be stressful for her. They knew that she was very close to her due date. So I think that was the whole, that was one of the points of that, and that to get that important testimony out of the way so that she could give birth and having all of that behind her. So, good luck to her and the baby, and we'll see what happens. Christina?
Absolutely. Fox 5's Lisa Evers here to help us break down the very latest as it pertains to this trial. We appreciate you as always, Lisa.